When you hear the word sociopath, what do you picture? You probably think of people like this guy, machine-like monsters committing unthinkable crimes like killing people with a cattle gun or leaving the milk jug on the table. Well, if that's what you think of when you hear that word, you just committed a hate crime. What you should think of is this lady.
Hi, my name is Patrick Gagne, and I'm here to talk to you about my book, Sociopath.
With this book released yesterday, she's taken her place as the Rosa Parks of the sociopaths. I'll explain. Now, I'm not a woman in my 40s who binges true crime podcasts, so I won't be reading the book, but she did publish an excerpt from it in the Wall Street Journal. Here's the first line. Whenever I ask my mother if she remembers the time in second grade when I stabbed a kid in the head with a pencil, her answer is the same. Vaguely. Now, that sounds bad, but remember, we all did crazy things as kids. True, not all of us played O.J. Simpson with writing utensils, but she was a little aggressive. No big deal. The vaguely thing does worry me because that means it happened a lot. I vaguely remember losing my first tooth, but that's because it happened 19 more times afterward. Gagne says, I started stealing before I could talk. At least I think I did. Again, we shouldn't be so hard on her here. Really, all babies are thieves. They get all those sweet nutrients for free, and they hardly ever pay rent. She then describes having an entire box full of things I'd stolen in my closet by age 6 or 7, including, quote, the spectacles currently perched on my bookshelf that as a toddler she stole from Ringo Starr. Okay, now it's a villain origin story. But if Ringo had impaired senses, that does explain his solo career. I mean, have you heard It Don't Come Easy? That song is 2 minutes and 54 seconds, but it feels like half an hour. It's like a root canal for your ears. But enough about Ringo. We're talking about sociopaths, people who torture others for fun. Hold on a sec. Here's Gagne again. I didn't feel guilt when I lied. I didn't feel compassion when classmates got hurt on the playground. For the most part, I felt nothing. Nothing. No emotions whatever, except an unrelenting pressure to do horrible things, which she claims was her mind's way of trying to, quote, feel something. So she can't feel bad, but she can feel good, and only when she makes someone else feel bad.
Poor girl.
In first grade, she stole a girl's hair barrette off her head, saying, once it was in my hand, I felt better, as if some air had been released from an overinflated balloon. It's just like they say, theft. It's nature's Xanax. The question is, why did she write this article? My guess is to gain empathy from NPR moms. Like if she makes them feel bad, it brings her some sense of, hey, wait. She writes, after years of study, intensive therapy, and earning a PhD in psychology, I can say that sociopaths aren't bad or evil or crazy. We simply have a harder time with feelings. Now, if I told you that therapy and psychology degrees were just a way to medicalize bad behavior, I'd be called a nut job. But when this lady does it, she gets calls from Simon & Schuster, as long as she says it's a good thing. Now her life's work is one big Sarah McLachlan commercial for sociopaths. So what does she hope people will take away from the book?
Hope. Hope for those struggling with sociopathy, for parents with sociopathic kids, for people with sociopathic partners. Let me be blunt. The lack of hope related to this disorder in particular is dangerous. Hopelessness in someone with nothing to lose and nothing to gain, I remember what that felt like. And trust me when I tell you, there is no greater threat.
I don't like the way she says threat.
Ugh.
But yes, there is hope for sociopaths. One day you can end up like this lady and make your sadistic tendencies into a profession. It's the left's whole thing, pairing up people who love torturing others with people who love being tortured. The media is like a sadomasochist matchmaking site. Take your pick. Do you like feeling bad for being white? For being a man? For owning things? We've got you covered. It's this poisonous empathy spiral where everyone consents and everyone gets to feel virtuous. If only there was an audiobook that showed another way of dealing with emotional manipulation. And if only there were a promo code that you could use to get access to that audiobook and a whole library of content for 40% off your first month. Guess the world isn't perfect yet.